Someone You Should Know. A program about people you know and even more that you don't. Hosted by Stuart Sachs, veteran, husband, father, and grandfather. Now, here's your host, Stuart Sachs.
Well, hello again, and welcome to Someone You Should Know. And there's someone you should know.
Hello.
My special guest this morning, Heather King. And I know I promoted it a bit earlier too, but everybody that's tuning in right now is saying, oh my gosh, she's got a crown on her head. You have royalty on your show. I mean, you really are lifting this show to a whole new level, Heather.
Well, I'm glad that I can do that for you. The sparkly hat, it does lots for you.
And Heather is not wearing the crown because Halloween is around the corner. No. And she's dressing up for that because Heather is the reigning Miss Frisco, Texas.
Yes, sir, I am.
And we were talking just briefly about it before the show started. The fact that you were crowned on what date last year?
I was crowned on September, I want to say it was 1st or 2nd of 2019 going into 2020. And then COVID happened and threw all of us a curveball. So I was supposed to compete for Miss Texas during the last week of June, but it has gotten pushed back to June 2021, which just means a double extra year for me to get to do things like this with you.
That was going to be my follow-up question. So yes. Because there wasn't a Miss Texas, now you will actually reign for 2 years.
Yes, I will. We are calling it a double blessing bonus year.
And, how has, there's certain duties that go along with the title, personal appearances and I mean, COVID hit and all of a sudden that must have put a real kibosh on a lot of those plans. How did you and the organizers deal with this, and how are you going to deal with it moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that we've never really seen before as an organization, as a world, as a nation. So it really was a moment of we have to adapt and overcome. So obviously for a long time, there was no in-person appearances. And even right now, there's very limited ones of what we can do when it comes to saying things in person. So Zoom appearances became huge. Just the other week, I was able to go and play bingo with some kids at the Dallas Children's Hospital via Zoom. Using social media has been a huge tool during this time, but really it's kind of a learn and grow as you go, and with the ebb and flow of how things are going on, but just trying to do the best we can with what we have.
I want to kind of turn time back. Where did the interest and the desire in beauty pageants, is this something that you've thought about when you ever since you were a child?
No, sir, not at all. So I always laugh because it had someone told me years ago that I would be competing for Miss Texas, that I would be Miss Frisco, I would probably laugh because this was never something that I grew up thinking I was going to do. It actually, I always say my sister blackmailed me into doing it. And the story behind that is I was 14 years old. I was a sophomore in high school, and my sister and I, we would always watch the Miss America pageant, and we would always try to, it's now called the Miss America competition, and we would always try to guess who is going to win. And then one year, my sister said, I'm going to go compete for Miss Texas. And I was like, cool, you go do your thing. And she went and watched the state competition and came home that evening with a program book that showed there was a teen category as well. And she was like, you have to do this. And I kid you not, my response was, I've never had braces. I have the face of a pepperoni pizza, because everyone knows about that high school acne. It is real. And so I immediately discredited myself, and I was like, I can't do that. No. So she continued to ask, and it came the night before the local competition. And she finally, she continued to ask. And I said, if I do this, will you just leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
Yes, like, will you stop asking? So she was like, yes. So we emailed the local directors, who are now my directors to this day and are like family to me. But we emailed them and they said I could compete. So I grabbed her old prom dress from the closet. I filled out the paperwork, and by the grace of God, won the teen title. And then that following summer got fourth runner up. And my second year, I came back as Miss Frisco's teen and won the title of Miss Texas teen that next summer.
Now, as Miss Texas teen, this is about 2016?
Yes, sir.
So what were some of the responsibilities that you had as in that regard as a teen?
Yeah. So the teen program really is such an incredible aspect of the organization, and really sets up girls at a young age for so much success because of the intangible things you learn from caring about what's going on in the world, being able to go through a private interview, fill out paperwork. But when it comes to the job, really, you are doing the job of Miss Texas just on a smaller scale, because you still are a full-time student. You're in school. So Monday through Friday, you are a high school student. And then come the weekend, you have appearances. So there were weekends when I lived in Dallas, but I would drive down to Houston and go visit children in a hospital, or go sing the national anthem at a sporting event, or go speak at schools during the week. I would take my lunch break and go to schools and read to children. So it really is, you're doing the job of Miss Texas, but just on a more of a smaller scale. But it really does spark that fire in you to continue forward as you get older.
Now, getting involved in all of that and traveling around to, as you said, going to hospitals, singing the national anthem.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you have seen yourself or any other competitors that say, listen, I'm this Miss Teen Texas and all, but wow, if as Miss Frisco, Miss Dallas, Miss whatever, I've got to continue doing all of this. It's just overpowering. Or do you get more into a zone and say, I love this. I love helping other people and all, and I want to take it to the next step.
Yeah, for me, it was, for me personally in my journey, because it's different for every girl. But for me, going through the experience, it was more of that you get to meet people from all walks of life, from so many different backgrounds.
You probably would not otherwise meet.
Exactly. And it just really opens up my eyes, not to just everything that happens within the great state of Texas, but truly just everywhere in the world. And it just sparked this fire of, if I am the only pageant girl that people meet one day, I want to leave an impression of that I genuinely care about this person. And it's not about what I can do, but it's about getting to know them and caring about them, caring about their story. And because truly, I learn so much from the people I meet. It's really like, I have the honor of wearing the crown and sash, but I learn so much from the people that I come in contact with.
And you have that opportunity to do so, and it helps you grow as a woman.
Yeah.
You study journalism; it helps you grow as a journalist. So I can see that plus side. I just always wonder about the time commitment. I mean,
yes,
especially being in high school now.
Yeah,
you're juggling your caseload, and then you have to juggle all this outside activity. It's almost like what athletes have to go through with practice and games and everything, and then handle the schoolwork too. So I guess time management becomes very, very important. Time
management is my best friend. I believe that I work best actually in more of a high, I don't want to say high stress, because I don't like stress, but just a high impact schedule. I like maintaining a busy life and a busy schedule, but I really do believe that having the title in high school was what kind of set that precedent in my life. Because even now, my plate is very full, but it's full of things that I love and feel called to do. And so, but I will say, buying a planner and writing everything out is my go-to. If it does not get written down, it's not going to get done.
I'm that way. Cell phone calendar, every day, everything is in there. I mean, I even go so deep as to if I see that it's supposed to be windy tomorrow, I leave a note for myself to put the umbrella on the back porch down.
That's amazing.
So I mean, it's detailed, but it's part of time management. It helps you get through your day.
I'm taking notes from you. I need to start checking the weather so I know how to do my hair. I'm not going to waste time doing my hair if it's going to rain,
And by the way, I don't want to go a step further in this show without telling you that there's some guy that just keeps dropping notes in comments and he wants to make sure that he gets mentioned on the show. And also I want to thank Ty Foley for dropping in and being part of the show. Thank you, Ty, and sharing some time with Heather and myself.
Yes.
And there's somebody else that keeps saying, "Are you going to mention me? Are you going to mention me?" Hi, Doug.
Hi. I call him Pageant Dad. Hi, Pageant Dad.
Yeah, and of course, Doug has something in common with you.
Yes,
doesn't he?
He does.
Like father.
He is my dad. That is him.
He's yeah. Oh, all of a sudden now he's putting in woohoo, Yahoo. Thank you. Now that I let him out of the bag,
out of the way.
Your father, Doug, is a screenwriter, and he's a writer. He's a publisher. He's an editor. He's a director. He's involved in a lot of things art related, even in the visual arts too. Was he some of the influence that you had growing up and all to, I mean, you obviously have a very outgoing personality and all, even though we try to subdue your father's, was some of that learned from him? Was that why you went into journalism?
Definitely. I mean, I kind of have a twofold story of how I got into journalism. I ended up actually not even finishing my degree in journalism. I have my associate's degree in Christian ministries. I'm finishing up my bachelor's in business management, but I will say my time studying journalism was one of the most shaping and enjoyable experiences I ever had. And I'm still really utilizing that. But so growing up, I saw my dad run his own magazine and his own publication called Hawaiian Style. And he ran it from home. So I got to see just kind of the inside scoop of running a magazine, and really just felt at a very young age, fell in love with this message and this idea of creating something that brought people from all walks of life together with a common interest. And so I made this really crappy magazine from paper clips and markers and computer paper. And I literally wrote Hawaiian Style Magazine, but Hawaiian and magazine were spelled very wrong. Could not spell to save my life at that age. But I really also talk about, as funny as it sounds, it's very true. When I got older, I saw the movie The Devil Wears Prada, and I always say it changed my life. And it was just, I had already known about the publication side and publishing magazines, and just loved that already. But once I saw this movie, and obviously it was very romanticized, but I fell in love with, oh my gosh, fashion and writing. Like, what more could you want as a girl? So I made this decision. I was like, I am going to work for Vogue one day. This is what's going to happen. Just bet on it. And so I went to Belmont to study journalism. But I honestly actually quickly realized that I did not want to work for Vogue. I actually wanted to create something of my own that truly empowered women, and wasn't this message of what we can change about the girl, but how the girl can change the world. And so I started my own publication in the fall of 2019 called Virtuous, and that is the heart and mission of it.
That is totally amazing to me. You are how old now?
I'm 21.
21 years old, and you are the creator and editor-in-chief and force behind a magazine.
Yes.
By the way, we'll give it a plug, www.virtuousmagcom.
Yes, sir.
Go online, you can see it. And I'll mark if our producer, thank you very, very much for producing the show. And also, if you have a chance to get the website up there and show a little bit of the magazine, I went online. I mean, it's absolutely incredibly beautiful.
Thank you so much. It's been a journey.
No, so I mean, but also let's throw everything into the mix here.
Yes.
We're not talking to you here from Frisco. You are in Jacksonville, Florida now.
I'm in Jacksonville, Florida.
You are with Elevate Life.
I
am, and you're a worship leader there.
I am.
I mean, how many balls can you juggle at the same time, girl?
I'm not going to lie. There are days when I handle it well, and there are plenty of days when I don't handle it with grace. It really is. I am not perfect by any means, and I'm learning and I'm growing, and it is a very stretching season because I'm a full-time student. I work as a worship director. I am Miss Frisco. I'm running my publication and trying to just handle it with grace. And some days I do it and some days I don't. But I'm very thankful, very, very thankful for everything that I have.
Well, there's a lesson in there, and I want you to address. Our audience is nationwide, and we may not have an awful lot of 21-year-olds that follow this show on a regular basis, but there's lots of moms out there and aunts and all that are out there saying, I've got a niece or a daughter and all that would benefit from following what Heather King is doing. What words do you have for those young people that you've interacted with as Miss Teen Texas and as Miss Frisco to kind of point them in the direction of, that old saying, you can do anything you set your mind to?
Yeah. That's a great question. I would probably say dare to be different. For me growing up, I was never the one who was invited to parties on the weekend. Like that was never me. Everyone knew, my story is I went to church and I volunteered at church and I ran my blog from home and I was doing Miss Texas Outstanding Teen. And for me, like growing up, that was very different from what everyone else in my high school was doing. And there were some lonely moments because, every high schooler wants to be loved and every high schooler wants to feel like they are a part of a group and are popular. But really that wasn't my narrative. But I'm so thankful it wasn't. So my advice would be dare to be different, dare to go against the social norm, even if there are moments when people question you, if people don't catch a vision of your dream or what you feel called to do. If you are confident in it and no, I am made to do this, dare to be different, because I promise you it will be so, so worth it. And the very small and fleeting things of this world will not hold a chance against it.
It's amazing that someone of your age has so much composure and desire and focus, and I think that that in itself is a message that find what you are passionate about. You said, "I watched the Devil Loves Prada."
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite movies too.
It's so great.
for so many reasons. Number one, I grew up in the shoe industry.
So, did you really?
Oh, my family
interviewing you right now,
and my wife and I and all spent 40 years in the fashion industry. Wow. And also movies like that. We said yeah, no. But the lead in that movie, other than you
have Anne Hathaway and Meryl Streep.
Anne Hathaway, yes, and Meryl Streep, who I absolutely adore. But amazing. Anne Hathaway, her character, it was just nothing was going to stand in her way. She was going to be the best that she could be. And even though she was told sometimes, don't do it that way, she saw that doing it that way would be beneficial.
Yes.
And am I correct? That's probably a lesson that most young people need to grasp right now too.
Yeah. And here's the thing, I love that you bring that up, because even I love in that movie, she gets interviewed by Meryl Streep for the position at the magazine, and she doesn't look like every other girl who's worked at the magazine. She's not the most fashionable. She's not the most fit. Her hair is not done right, whatever.
She doesn't fit that mold.
Yes. And I love what she says. I love the line. She's like, you know what? I know I'm not the prettiest. I know I'm not the thinnest. I know that I am not what everyone looks like, but I'm a hard worker. And if you hire me, like, I will do this job to the best of my ability. And like, that is the perfect moment of dare to be different. Like, dare to stand up for yourself, dare to be different, dare to be confident in what you feel called to do. Because truly, when it comes, I'm so passionate about women, and I hate seeing women feel insecure. Like, no, girl, like, be confident in who you are and who you are created to be. Go for it.
You're absolutely right. And especially you throw a wrench into it like the coronavirus. And now we have to even be more focused. We have to be more creative, because now, just as you have done, you can't just say, okay, well, I'll wait until the pandemic is over, then I'll go back to visiting in the hospital and one-on-ones with interviewers and with people. No, you create other avenues, so you keep the message going whatever way that you possibly can.
Yeah. There have been a lot of moments of having to adapt and overcome, definitely. I mean, right before everything really hit, and I guess it was April, it feels like forever ago, the magazine, I had planned to have kind of these little mini meetup conference style type things in Birmingham and Nashville and one in Dallas, but then everything hit and we couldn't do that. So we had to adapt and overcome as a publication of, okay, how can we still do this, but in a way of social distancing and COVID-19 and all of these things. And we created a podcast for that, of kind of like a stand in place until further notice. And it's been a blast. So really, I think too, within this season, like, don't stop dreaming, even in the midst of COVID-19. Like, it is so important to keep dreaming and keep having vision, and like, be creative, like, do whatever you can in this time to keep that passion sparked.
Yeah, you have to almost kind of dream outside the envelope now.
Yeah.
And you'll add to that, you uprooted from Texas and moved to you have no relatives or contacts in Jacksonville, do you?
I do not.
You know, I mean, you've just taken this young, beautiful woman, pick her up, put her in a new job, put her in a new location, but she's still connected to Texas because of the duties that she has to perform. There have to have been times that you said to yourself, you know, wow, can I do this? But,
oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah, but I see a personality in there that just says, it isn't a matter of saying, oh my gosh, can I do this? Oh my gosh, I will do this.
Yes. Yes.
That must have been something that was challenging for you as you were growing up, is to formulate a personality that isn't always shared by your peers. You know, it's like, I'll take whatever comes my way. No, you have to make whatever comes your way sometimes.
Absolutely. And I, just as a piece of encouragement, because I think people can get discouraged when their first reaction isn't, I'm going to do this, because we are human. We feel discouraged, we get down, and that's a normal part of life. But it's, the important thing is not staying down. And because naturally, like, there are moments when you're going to say, can I do this? Like, I'm not even going to lie to you. 2 weekends ago, I had a moment where I was like, can I do this? Like, am I capable of doing all of this? And I got my tears out and I verbalized what I needed to verbalize. And then at the end of it all, I was like, okay, no. Like, I remember my why. I remember why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I will finish this out. So I feel like it's important to recognize it's okay to have moments when you question, like, whether or not you can, and moments of being down and shedding some tears if you need to shed some tears, or punch a pillow, whatever you need to do, but just not staying down and remembering, if you can remember your why, you can keep going.
Well, and of course, for somebody that's in the publishing business and has their own magazine, you may have one of those moments and say, hey, I see an article in this.
Oh,
you know?
Definitely.
I can write about this or
It's so true. Sometimes I have to like be careful because in my brain something will be happening and immediately like I haven't even like really processed the moment, but immediately I'm like, this will make great content. And then I'm like, okay, wait, hold on. But honestly, like that's even something I have to check too for the sake of my creativity is like very staying present and not just being on the lookout for like content, but staying present.
now working a job at Elevate Life and running a magazine. Uh, what do you do? What do you do outside of work and all of that? What do you do for fun?
What do
And
I do for
especially
fun?
in a new city too.
Well, thankfully, living in a new city means new exploring. So one of the things that I really do love about Jacksonville is because I am here, like I'm working and I'm here for school, so I'm juggling all the things. But Fridays are my off day. So actually, today when we're done, I'm gonna go explore. I'm gonna go to a coffee shop. I'm a coffeeholic, I say. But we have like all these tiny little islands and cities that are only about
Right.
an hour out, filled with cute little bookshops and stores and good food. So I love exploring and just kind of getting away, even if it is for a day. I protect my Fridays. So if it's a work related message, I don't respond. Or if it's anything like I'll make sure all my schoolwork's done. But if it's work or anything like I'm not doing it on Friday. I protect my day to explore, to rest, to read. Just having
That's
that
part of
moment.
that focus and that time management too,
Yes.
because part of your time management is time for you.
Exactly. Yes, and amen. I agree.
By the way, there's a lot to see along the St. John River too in
Yes,
Jacksonville too.
yes.
Lots of neat stuff along that area.
And there's so much history here. You have St. Augustine, which is the oldest city in America. It was founded in the 1500s. So heck, I might even end up there today.
Yeah. The do you have a staff on the magazine now?
So that has been one of the biggest blessings. So a little history and background of the magazine. So I started it in 2019, but there was no way that I was going to start it immediately right off the bat as a full-blown published hard copy magazine. So it really
Although it sure looks like it.
Thank you. I'm glad. That was the hope and the dream. So I started it just as the website, but I wanted to run it like it was a magazine. So we would upload the issue and have all of the articles, and then it would kind of just be radio silent while we worked on the next issue. So we did 2 online issues, and then going into the spring of 2020, we released our first print issue. And at that time, it was only me on the team. And then I say it was a wing and a prayer, honestly, just balancing that. And because I was finishing up my AA at a 2-year biblical school. And so I was in my last semester of that before graduation. And so I was balancing that and got the magazine done. There were lots of tears shed throughout the journey because I was figuring out how do I publish a magazine? Like, how do I even get this to people? Like, I have this dream and I want to do it, but how do I do it? So lots of late nights.
Hello, Dad.
Yeah. But honestly, I'm not going to lie. My pride, I was like, I'm going to do this myself. Like, this is my thing. And I did ask him a lot of questions along the way, and he was so helpful. But I Googled a lot of things, downloaded InDesign, and just kind of like taught myself along the way of how to design, did some things wrong, but learned from it. But fast forward now, it really has been such a blessing because there were moments when I was like, oh my gosh, like I need this person. Like I need someone to help with social media. I really need someone to help with administrative work. I need someone to help with editing articles. And I honestly would just kind of, send a prayer out and ask like, please God, just like send me someone. And I kid you not, every single time I'd open up my email and there would be someone I'd never met with their resume and just saying, hey, I would love to do this position on the magazine. And right now we are in the process of finalizing the publication as a business. So until then, I've told everyone, it's like, hey, like, I would love for you to be a part of the team, but right now it's volunteer based until further notice. And I was always nervous, like, oh, they're going to back away, because some of the people on the team like are, oh my gosh, just incredible with their education, their experience. But everyone has catch vision and they're like, I don't even care. I want to be a part and I love what you're doing. So it really has been a miracle. But I'm very, very blessed.
And to think that the magazine, you said the first hard copy of the magazine was published and came out in the spring. COVID-19,
Okay.
Right in the middle of a pandemic, you're putting that together.
It has, I kid you not, Stuart. Every issue, there has been something. And you know what? I take it as a blessing, because I'm just going to say it means I'm doing something right. But the first one, it was the printer that we were going to use shut down. So then I had to find a printer in Europe, of all places, which made the prices wacky. And then right before I moved to Florida, I finished the summer issue to literally have the issue be wiped from my laptop and have to start it all from scratch again. So it's been a journey. And there have been moments, even with this, where I'm like, can I do this? And then I have that moment of, no, like, I am made to do this and I will see this through.
You just got a note in from J. Lauren Norris.
Yes.
Who chimed in and said hello and said that it loves you. There, it should be on the screen right there.
Yes. I love J. Lauren.
and there's been some notes coming in from your dad and from Ty also. Oh, do you see what's on the screen now?
Ask Heather for her favorite. I am not even going to finish that sentence.
About Rick and Morty. Okay.
Well, I am not a Rick and Morty fan. Not at all. And he knows that.
He's trying to stack it. There's more comments coming in. People are gathering on Cynthia Wickwire. So this is a testament to who you are at a young age and how devoted you are to your craft and what you're doing. Again, the virtuousmagcom. Go to the website, look at the magazine. There's some absolutely beautiful photography in the magazine, as well as some beautifully written articles. And I would imagine a lot of them were penned by yourself. And so it is, as you read the magazine, you realize what a labor of love it is for this young woman. And it just, again, for those that are listening and watching the show, at 21, you can do what you set your mind to do. Yes. You just don't let barriers get in your way, or if they do, you find a way to go over, under, or around them.
There's always a way. I promise you. Don't let your age keep you from, here's the deal. I have been an entrepreneur since I was like, yay big. I would sit in the back of church while, the pastor's preaching, people are doing whatever. And I would literally draw doodles and then not paying attention whatsoever, because I did not care at that age. And
Your father did the same thing.
Yeah, he did. He
was a sketcher and a doodler too.
Yes. But I would go around to people after the service. I'd be like, I'm selling my drawing for $2. And I kid you not, there was someone who was like, oh, I only have a 5. And I was like, that works. I'll take it. But seriously, that's a funny example. But truly, there have been plenty of moments when, people did not give me the time of day because of my age. But you can't let that stop you. Someone will listen. You just gotta find the right people.
I'm truly amazed at what you've done. Add to this, I saw a note or something that you went on a mission trip to Africa.
So I was supposed to, but
COVID-19. I saw the note about it, and also that kind of got, well, I won't say it got canceled. It probably got just postponed.
Got rescheduled. It did. It got rescheduled for 2021. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be making my way to South Africa come spring of 2021.
Now, will you be going in an official capacity, or is this something just through your crown or through Elevate Life?
So actually neither. So I graduated from a college called Highlands College, which is under Church of the Highlands in Alabama. And so part of your curriculum is you get to go on a missions trip before you graduate. But obviously I graduated because that couldn't happen.
Right.
So I was going underneath my small group that I was with for 2 years. And our small group's leader, he is actually one of the executive pastors of Church of the Highlands, and he puts on something called Grow conferences, and it's for pastors all over the world to come and just, instead of them having to pour out, we get to pour into them, and just they get a break. And so we will be going to South Africa to put on 2 Grow conferences for pastors across Africa and South Africa.
I see some great opportunities for articles for the magazine coming
Absolutely.
out of that also.
Absolutely.
Look, I waited 50 years to get a radio show. So, it's never too late to follow your passion and follow your dreams. And you're in a position where, again, I hate to keep saying this over and over, but it does amaze me that at your age, you have a vision that is so all encompassing, to be able to focus on what you're doing, that it's very admirable. You're a very, very lucky young lady.
Thank you.
You mentioned very briefly earlier that you were Zooming a lot of things that you're doing now, working with Zooming children in hospitals, and all. How is that? How do you see that in the eyes of those children that you're Zooming with, and then what is it doing inside of Heather King?
Well, really, because, everyone has Zoom fatigue at this point. Everyone's tired of seeing things on a camera, but something that I've constantly had to remind myself is when I was Miss Texas Teen 2016, I had the honor of going into children's hospitals in person and spending one-on-one time with those children. And I'm telling you, there is nothing like it. There really is nothing like it. And those were some of my favorite moments as Miss Texas Teen, because you just get to be with these children who could be so negative and so down and so frustrated and mad at the world, but they are some of the most joyful little people you will ever meet. And it really had such a lasting impression of me. And even the questions they asked you, I always got asked, like, do you staple your crown on your head? And, getting to just see their eyes light up, just because I have the honor of getting to wear this crown and this sash. And so even in moments where it may not look the same, when I Zoom on, I just have to remember it's like, this isn't about me. And even if this one moment makes their day, because they don't get to have a lot of visitors in person anymore. So if this phone call, especially now. So if this one phone call, if me calling out some bingo numbers puts a smile on a child's face, it's worth it. And because once again, I can't stress enough, this job, it may look glamorous, and there are moments when it really is, but really at the end of the day, it's about meeting people where they are and crouching down with a child, or Zooming on with a child, and just getting to hear them and talk to them and answer their questions of what my favorite color is and if I have a pet. And so that's what it's all about.
I have over my years and all devoted time to visiting children in hospital settings. Being a veteran, I've gone to a lot of veteran organizations and interacted with veterans. And I gotta say that when I walk out, I probably feel at least as lifted as the people that I have visited. And it is something that we as human beings probably need to do more of. And that is to pay our good fortune forward and sharing it with others, because honestly, I think you receive more than you give when you're in an experience like that.
You do. Which, first off, thank you for your service. I greatly appreciate what you've done. But I can't agree more. I mean, I think the greatest gift that we can give to others and even ourselves is serving people. Because there's nothing more fulfilling.
Well, that's what drew you to Jacksonville. is
Yeah.
to be able to work in a capacity like that. So what's the future for Heather King? You got your own magazine. You've got at least a year more of serving in this royal capacity,
Yes.
if you will. Do you sometimes think 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road as to where you are and what you want to be doing?
Oh, do I? I probably think too much down the road. I probably need to be like a year and a half backwards, honestly. I definitely am a forward thinker, to say the least. But it's funny that you say that, because the thing that I've really been trying to stretch myself in right now is staying present, so that I don't steal my contentment and my joy from what I'm in now. But I will say what the future holds. Next June, I'm going to go compete for Miss Texas, and fingers crossed that I am able to bring home the title of Miss Texas and serve that wonderful, wonderful state for a year, and go on to compete for Miss America. And the next Miss America is the 100th Miss America. So, I mean,
who knows?
who knows? I mean, fingers crossed, let me tell you. But if not that, if that's not what is in store for me, then I will continue to serve Jacksonville faithfully, and continue with Virtuous and making that a full-time business and full-time publication, because I have lots of dreams for what that has in store.
It's amazing. I guess I'm going to ask, and Doug, you shut your microphone off or whatever for now. Is there a guy in your life?
Is there a guy in my life? There definitely is a guy in my life. You probably saw him comment. His name is Seth Spinks.
It's right here. There's a comment. So proud of you, Heather. There it is. It's on the screen now too.
That is my boyfriend. So he actually works at Elevate Life with me. He's a worship director and a campus assistant director. We have 3 campuses, so we're not at the same one. But no, he is wonderful, and yes, there is a guy in my life.
That's wonderful. So my follow-up question is, when do you have time to see him?
When do I have time to see him?
Other than Fridays. You said Friday is your day, your focus day.
Yes, we definitely see each other on Fridays. We see each other throughout the week for work. But this season, I mean, I'm not even going to lie. When we first started dating, I told him, I said, listen, I don't have a lot of room for spontaneity in my life at the current moment. I am very in need of structure. But he's wonderful. He is the biggest champion of my dreams, and he's extremely patient and understanding of my season of life. And so I'm very thankful for that.
So you got to Jacksonville and you didn't know anybody, and now you do.
Okay, so this is actually kind of funny. So Seth and I went to college together in Alabama.
Oh, okay.
We were not friends. Well, we were acquaintances. We just ran in very different circles, and so we never really talked. And then someone recommended my name to the church and to him, and because we were the only mutual connection, he reached out and got me connected to the pastors here. But there was definitely no motive, no ill intention. So it was just kind of funny how it all worked out.
That's a great story.
It is. I think so too. I do.
And again, an article for the magazine.
you maybe I just need to bring you on the team and have you figure out all of our content.
Well, it's fascinating that you say that, because I'm a lot like you. I'm sure that wherever you go, like you say, when you're walking along the river or so, or exploring new areas around St. Augustine or Jacksonville, I'm sure that you are in that Rolodex is working. You're thinking about ideas and articles. Wherever I go, I'm meeting people, and I'm thinking to myself, is that someone you should know? There's someone you should know. I meet a doctor, and I find out not only is he a doctor of this, but he used to be a rugby player.
Oh my God.
There's a backstory, and this just I just live for that.
Oh yeah, every name has a story.
And that's where we get our inspiration. I know your dad, just in his everyday walk of life, he sees things differently also, and he can take an instance or something he sees and turn it into a screenplay.
Yeah.
And or turn it into an article for one of his books. So again, it's something that we all really should grasp, and that is, what are the things that pull your trigger?
Yeah.
What do you see in your life that you really say, wow, I really enjoy that, and go after it and develop it?
Absolutely. Because everyone's creative. I think so many people think like, oh, you have to be born a creative personality, but no, creativity is just a muscle. And so when you think about it, like people who can do math equations, that is creativity. Like being able to see that, being able to figure it out, like that is not my skill set at all. Like my skill set is writing and being able to just kind of envision like things that are pleasing to look at and from the design aspect. So that's my creative outlet, and reading and writing and all those things. But there are so many different ways to be creative, and you just have to, like you said, find that trigger, find the thing that just sets your heart on fire.
Yeah, well, your dad and Ty Foley, both of them are visual artists. They work in watercolors and in oils, and sometimes it is just something that's in the back of the eyeball that you kind of see, and then you translate it onto a canvas.
Yeah.
Other people pick up a pen and open up a pad of paper and start to write things. Or like you said, back in grade school, you used to doodle and sketch on, when nobody was looking.
Yeah.
But it's a creativity that I think almost all of us have. It's just a matter of developing it.
Yeah. And I think it's important too to have a creativity that's just for yourself, not for anyone else but you. So I'm like my dad, and even on my mom's side, like we're very artistic. And so my grandma, she used to paint all the time, and my dad's an artist. And so for me, the creative aspect that I do just for myself that brings me peace and refreshes my heart is painting. And so I think it's important to have that outlet that's just for you, that refreshes your heart, but still is stretching your creativity.
Yeah, it's in your DNA. I'm going to take just a moment, because I went and was following some information about Virtuous Magazine, and you wrote something that I want to share with the audience, and it says, the mission is simple: to see women be bold in their passions, stand tall in their convictions, and walk confidently in their identity.
Mm-hmm.
Those are beautiful words, and just, I think, a great mission for you to focus on as you go forward with the magazine and with every other thing in your life.
Thank you. I really do appreciate that.
I'm not related to you, but I'm still very proud of you.
Oh, thank you. I really do. It means the world to me.
You're just an inspiration to other people, and I want my audience, wherever you are, to understand that it doesn't matter what age you are, what background you come from. If you have, a feeling in your heart, go with it, develop it. Sometimes you hit a brick wall. And then you either say that's it, or you say, I'm going to go around this brick wall and find whatever's on the other side and pursue it.
Gift.
Yeah, I know. And for someone who is young and devoted and beautiful and talented, you're an inspiration for a lot of other people that are watching this show, no matter whether they're in Seattle or down in Florida or wherever they are. This is a young lady that is to be reckoned with. I think you've got an amazing future.
Thank you.
And who knows, someday maybe you'll be sitting in what's her name's seat from The Devil Wears Prada.
Maybe. Maybe. Keep her eye out. I'm on the hunt for her job.
I kind of see that coming.
I mean,
Heather King. Heather King, Miss Frisco, thank you for taking the time to be with me on Someone You Should Know.
Thank you. I really do. I had a blast.
And also thank you, considering Friday is your private day. You gave up an hour of it to be with me.
I loved it. I had a blast, and I can't thank you enough for considering me to be part of your show.
Well, and you are someone we should know. And that will do it for another segment of the show. I thank you for being with us and sharing some of your Friday morning with us. Go out and make it a good day, because as I always say, be yourself, because everyone else is taken.
That's right. I love it.
Take care.